Hey everyone, I'm super excited today to have with us a very special guest. Today's guest is an absolute treat and honor to have on the Founder Stories podcast. Has not only founded one startup, he has founded 3 startups already sold one of them for a crazy amount of $300 million. He has founded a leading VC firm, and now he is building a company that is changing work for good. That he's not just building a company for the sake of building a company, to make money and profit. He's building a company to change the way people live their lives, and we're going to get into that. But not only that, our guest today, Ronni, the CEO and founder of Hibob, is a super duper dude, an absolute really humble guy, a father to 4 beautiful children, a great husband, and we'll ask his wife to confirm that afterwards. But he's just an awesome all around. So I am very excited to have him here with us today to share his story, not only how he got into entrepreneurship and built incredible companies and what the future of work is going to be, but also how Ronni reinvents himself on a daily basis and a weekly basis to become the man who he is today, to show up in not just in work life, but in his personal life every single day. So Ronni, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Ephraim. Thank you for inviting me. Pleasure to be here.
You're welcome. It's an absolute honor. I have so many questions, so many topics to talk about. So we're going to jump right into it. It's all about honesty, transparency, and that's what we're going to accomplish here. Ronni, your grandparents came from Baghdad to Israel. And, they came with a new beginning to the homeland to set up a whole new shop, to leave what was going on over there. And when they came, from my understanding, they came with nothing. What do you think your grandfather would say now, or your grandparents would say if they were able to, of blessed memory, is to see you, of what you have accomplished in Israel, in Israel, when they came with just a dream?
Wow, this is a fantastic question. Actually, I've never been asked this question ever in my life, and I'm 56 years on the road. Both my parents immigrated from Iraq. They lived in Baghdad for hundreds of years. They left behind not only properties, and they left behind a soul. They left behind a huge, and I can say a amazing heritage when they decided in 1951 to make Aliyah to the state of Israel. And like many immigrants, many Olim Chadashim, when they immigrated to the state of Israel, it was not easy on any of them, including my parents and my grandfathers, so for them it was something that they believed in, vision. It was their mission to put everything behind and to move to something different, dealing with uncertainty, dealing with a lot of challenges, economical challenges, social challenges, family challenges, you name it. But for them, regardless the challenges, they believed in something. We are almost 70 years more or less since they moved to Israel, and I believe that between myself and my family, I think the move they decided to do in 1951, I would say if they're like with us on this podcast, I'm sure they will be proud, not because of me, because what we have accomplished as a state, as a society. Israel is well-known brand, and sometimes we forget or we underestimate what does it mean. I've been in tech for 25 years. I can't remember even one example when I was in front of people. It doesn't matter where, Japan, China, US, the United Kingdom, anywhere that people realize that I'm from Israel, they only have great things to say about us as a state. At the beginning of the COVID, all the small talks I had with the customers and partners were about respecting how we control and how we reacted to the pandemic. But even before, I think they respect a lot innovation. They respect a lot the fact that we are not afraid to fail. That it's all about teamwork. I think in many ways it's all about humbleness. How you view yourself around comparing to the others. So it is something to be proud of. Regardless, what do? You can be in education, you can be in health, you can be an ambassador, you can be in tech. I think we as a state, we have so many things to be proud of. And I'm glad you brought this question at the beginning of this podcast.
There's so many little things to unpack over there. But growing up with the grandparents that believed in something, and belief is so important in anything we do, and having a mission and having a true belief, and we'll get into that, because that's such an integral part of being an entrepreneur, to believe in something. But growing up with grandparents like that, what were the values they instilled in you from a young age, or even your parents that came from you?
Yeah. So I think it's exactly the same path, at least from my perspective. To me, the recipe to be a great entrepreneur is, I think there are many things, but if I need to summarize what are the most important ones, I would say, first of all, be human being, be a great person. Do your best to be honest and transparent with people around you. It doesn't matter whether you are an employee or a team leader or a CEO of a big company. If you give and if you behave nicely, you get in return twice or even triple than what you offer. Secondly, grow yourself from being good to be exceptional. Good is not enough. An exception does not mean that you need to compromise about your work-life balance, about your family, about your hobbies. Be exceptional mean that try to get, always take the extra mile, challenge yourself again and again, and lead by example. Because if people around you truly see that you really stand behind, they say, grow from being good to being an exceptional, then they will follow you. And if you do a good job in empowering them and showing them the direction how to do it, they will follow you and they will do exactly like you. And if a collective of people together believe that it is critical for themselves as individuals, for the teammates, for the organization to work for an industry, growing from being good to be exceptional, then you see it moving and progressing as we go. Also, surround yourself by excellent people. I'm a great believer in building very strong teams. I believe that my direct reports, the CFO, the CMO, the CRO, the head of customer success, the chief people officer, from my perspective, they are all the CEO of what they do. They have the full responsibility and the authority to manage the teams, their KPIs, as they were the CEO of the departments. It's all about empowerment. It's all about making sure that you first hire great people around you that can step up and step up, grow from being good to be exceptional, etc., etc. But if you surround yourself by great people, then you can grow, you can scale. There are more people helping you take it to the next level. And if they do the same when they think about their teams, I believe you can imagine the impact of how you build successful organization. It's not easy. It's not like you click on a button and you get into an elevator and you say, okay, now I want to get to the 12th floor, and that's it. Easy. You click the button and you get to the 12th floor. It's all about climbing stairs, one floor and another floor and another floor. And all of a sudden you find yourself in the middle of the way, or you already reached the peak you wanted to be from the get-go.
So what does it mean then to be truly exceptional? Like if you look at sports, for example, if someone wants to be, let's say, we'll take basketball, basketball fan, Stephen Curry or Michael Jordan, for example. To be truly exceptional, Michael Jordan had to practice every single day. He was there before everyone else. He shot them more shots. He practiced more shots. He practiced everything, right? And he just did it more to a whole next level. And if you want to check out a great documentary, I'm sure you did already. It's an incredible documentary on Netflix about Michael Jordan, and it's incredible. So you're able to see how he led with that mentality, how he was, first of all, he himself held himself to the highest standards, right? And he proved himself, and automatically he held his teammates to the highest standards. What is the blueprint for that in technology? Where someone, what is the practice points? What is the sense that the blueprint for them to become such an exceptional type of person, and then eventually hold themselves up to such a high standard that automatically they bring themselves up? And we'll get into leadership in the next process following that.
To be an entrepreneur, founder of a business, and it doesn't matter whether it is in tech or sell groceries. You need to have a really strong mentality and mindset. Why? Because of the ups and downs. People read the news about a company did a fantastic exit, hundreds of millions of dollars, happy picture of all the employees together celebrating, but in many cases it was a real roller coaster. So you have to be really strong, and you cannot do it by yourself. You have to surround yourself with great people. I think the second element is don't be afraid to fail. Try again and again and again. Be honest with yourself, and when thing goes wrong, to ask yourself, did I really ask the right questions? High tech, it's very simple. If I need to describe what is the ultimate recipe for tech companies, is you identify a problem, and hopefully it's a meaningful problem for many people or many organizations, and you manage to find a way to solve this problem in a very innovative way. So either you discovered a problem that did not exist before, or you try to solve an existing problem in a different way, cheaper, better, or whatever. And in order to be such a player, you have to ask yourself questions about how big is the market, for example. Is it a real problem? Is it a nice to have a kind of stuff, or it's a must have element for individual or organization? Depends on your on the sector you want to go after. So all those things together are really important. And I think when you think about the ups and downs, the roller coaster, another advice about the downs, when you go through hell, keep going. It is part of the journey, and make sure that you keep your team morale when you get to difficult time with a perspective about what's happening around you. Always stay strong with your convictions. You are the only one. If you are the CEO, if you are the founder, you know better than anybody else what's the right way for the business. People should challenge you, should ask you very tough questions, but at the end of the day, stay closer to your convictions, and learn from the journey. I'm a great believer in listening to what's happening in the field. So I'm listening to my customer success calls with customers, my sales development team members when they are pitching a Hibob to the clients, and you learn a lot. You also learn a lot from talking to churned customers, those who decided that for some reason you're not good enough for them. If you spend time learning from churned customers, it's a treasure. It's a treasure, and you will find so many things about stuff that you were not aware of, or things that you planned and it fell short because you were not paying it the right attention to it. So the journey of being entrepreneur and building a company, beyond the ups and downs and the people around you and the very strong mentality, it requires a lot of work. You work very hard. I always say Hibob is like my fifth child. You wake up in the morning to deal with your new baby. You wake up in the middle of the night because something is bothering you, and if you don't treat it this way, then most likely it will fail. There is no autopilot in startups. You can imagine, you can dream sitting on the pilot chair and just clicking on a button, and then the plane goes automatically to the destination. That's not the case. You have to hold the stick tight all the time. And Ephraim, I must admit that being entrepreneur is, I would say, it's very addictive. There is nothing compared to the intellectual, emotional rewards you get when you do something. Not necessarily when you win. Of course, when you win, it's fantastic. But in many cases, when you overachieve challenges and problems, it's addictive and very rewarding. And once you do it once, it's almost impossible not to do it again and again and again.
I was about to ask you, why do you do it? Why do you do it? Why do you need this headache? You sold the previous company. You made Baruch Hashem for incredible amounts of money that you could set sail off to who knows where, live with your kids and then God willing grandkids and have a good life and to play some roulette on the side and invest in some companies. Why do you need that headache of the uncertainty, the challenges, the unknown of coming into work every single day?
Yeah.
Why do it?
If I can give you a specific answer about Hibob. Hibob was founded about 6 years ago. We are 420 people in different offices all around the globe, from Sydney, Australia, Amsterdam in Netherlands, in Sweden, in the UK, in North America, in Tel Aviv, of course. And what we do is we offer people management platform for modern businesses. Now, HR platforms, they've been around for decades. ADP was founded in 1949. What is it? More than 70 years ago. People were working. They had to get pay slips and report their time off and PTO and so on and so forth. So when we decided to found the business, and I'm a co-founder of Bob. I have Israel David is my co-founder. He's the CTO of the business. When we decided to found a company, we decided to do something that can make an impact. To me, impact was it has to be global. It has to be a platform, SaaS platform, that the barrier to entry is very high. So it really takes a lot of effort, innovation, courage, whatever you want to call it, to build it in a huge market. Now, when we founded the business 6 years ago, nobody thought that the world of work will change completely the way we see it now. What we see today, the way people work today and the shift, it's like you are in Berlin when the wall was falling down. It's happening live in our generation. So we thought that the way people work will change, and our idea was it will be driven by the generation transformation. The fact that younger people will get work. The Y and the Z generation, they will have different expectations about how workday should look like. And everything should be in the flow of work. They care a lot about their experience like consumer. They wanted to find the same a cool experience they have on the mobile devices or the consumer application they use when they get to work. So we thought, let's build something different. We call it, and we actually invented a category. We call it. We didn't call it system of record. We didn't call it system of automation. We came up with an idea. Let's call it system of engagement, system of collaboration. But the focus was not only on automating processes for finance or for HR only. Of course, we do that, and we check all the boxes on payroll and document management, etc. But we thought there is another element that is missing, and this is the ability of people to engage, and more specifically for I would say a well-defined market. Focus is a big thing in startups. Startup is all about what not to do. There are so many things to do. You need to make a decision, really what to do, because the blanket is short and you cannot do everything you want. So for us, the idea of building system of engagement was we looked at the legacy players, Oracle, SAP, Workday, ADP, those players, and they've been around for decades. They designed their platforms before the current employees that we see today were born. So there was a big gap between what was built and became a standard in the industry to where the market is. And we said, okay, let's innovate, let's do something. And I like a fantastic quote that came from Josh Berzin. Josh Berzin is the HR guru in our industry. I think he has millions of followers, and he knew about us from the very beginning. And he defined Hibob as the Instagram of HR tech. And when COVID hit 2 years ago, and everybody were forced to move from work from the office to work from home within a week or 2 weeks, and it's all about today. It's about hybrid and remote. We were the right platform with the right modules and features and a fantastic experience that any business, modern business, that was forced to adapt their operations to the pandemic, they were looking for a solution like us. Of course, we are not the only one, but I think we predicted that the market will require a high level of engagement by employees, and all the paradigms that we are aware of for decades. Work 9 to 5, work from the office, work full time, work in main cities. All those convictions were completely changing. Today we talk about work from home, work from anywhere, work from life, work-life balance, well-being, diversity, inclusion. These are all very important topics. We were there when the pandemic impacted the world. So the digital transformation that we thought that it will take, I don't know, many years until we get to a complete a digital transformation was accelerated. So within, I would say, 2 months, everything was accelerated. Everything was on steroids, and we were there. And we provide a solution to a very painful problem for our customers or potential customers, as we offer Bob as a mission critical platform for businesses. If you're modern and you think about hybrid and you think about collaboration and you think about remote and you care about your people and you care about retention and you care about culture, then you have to have a technology that will allow you to do so. It's not just clock in, clock out, or records about employees. It's a new dimension, and we anticipated that it will happen. And since COVID, we are really growing very nicely. We have almost 2,000 customers. We close about 300, even more, 300 new customers every quarter. Our definition of our customers are an organization with hundreds of employees. Some of them a few hundreds, some of them many hundreds of employees. The vast majority of them are very well-known logos and brands. I think maybe 2 days ago we closed in the UK a big a car company. I mean, you would not imagine that a car company would think about modern business, but they definitely thought that it is important for them, and they've decided to buy us into our platform. And the market is endless, Ephraim. The market is endless, and we really want to be the one that will make an impact in every modern business on the planet, with a few hundreds of employees. We have no intention to compete on the many thousands of employees. We're good with, let's say between 100 employees to 5,000 employees, and to serve those customers globally, from Australia to a west of Canada, Mihodu ועד כוש.
Wow. There's so many ways. There's so many ways to go over here. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. And to see the passion and enthusiasm you talk about it is amazing. And it's not just about creating a company. You look at it as a social mission. And one of the things that really stands out is a few things. The first thing is, you're coming from, you have no HR background. Yes, you built a company and you had to deal with HR. But in a sense, from the HR perspective, like a guy like Josh, whose whole industry is HR, so he grew up in HR, you don't have that. So the naiveness and the naivete that you had probably when you started that company, thinking hey, I'm going to just start a company in HR, it'll be easy now, build it up and change the world, is what keeps you going. Is what entrepreneur, it has that aspect of we're going to, and then you realize obviously once you start how all the issues that come together with building a company in that space that you don't know about. But that naiveness is what really is incredible to see. And it seems like you still have it. It's amazing which is what keeps you going forward to really realize you're going to change the world and make a massive impact.
You're so right, because when I co-founded my previous company in the CDN space, when we were talking to people, say, it's not going to work. Akamai acquired us, but they said they have 75% market share. There's no way you can compete against them. Forget about it. And we were naive, and we believed in ourselves. And we say, of course, we'll do it. And the rest was history because our technology was way better than Akamai. Actually, if I remember correctly, about a third of the internet traffic has been served by Akamai, and Akamai adopted the innovative technology that we have built in Cotendo, my previous company, and it become today it is a standard in around the innovation that we brought to the table. And I think there is a common denominator between so many Israeli entrepreneurs and I would say entrepreneurs anywhere. I think you dare to think big. You dare to take on yourself huge challenges, and with a strong belief that you can solve it.
Mm.
Of course, you need luck, but in order for luck to find you, you need to find the right lane to stay in, so you'll be picked up. And I'm glad that Israel is so has so impactful element in innovation around the globe. We spoke about it in our brief call. I think there are about 900 more or less unicorns on the planet. It changes every day, of course. 900 unicorns. Unicorns, it's a private company that is valued of more than 1 billion. 1 out of 10 are Israeli-based companies. So it's about 90. Again, it changes. 90 unicorns in Israel. And just to give you a perspective, in Australia there's only 2 or 3. That's it. In the UK there are probably less than 20. Right. Or 30. So by far, Israel is a center of excellence, center of intelligence, innovation, and we are all very proud of it.
Wow, incredible, and it's Yiddish nachas. But you brought up an interesting point over here. Right now, unicorns are being minted and being birthed every single day. Now it's the new concept of decacorn, I think it's pronounced, and then there's the next thing. You built 3 companies. You've worked for other companies. You lived through the 2000s. You lived through the 2008. And now you're living through the COVID, and you're living through now what's happening right now in the economic system, which will probably be another recession within the next 2 years, probably. I mean, Mensch trach got lacht, man, things got laughs. So we don't know really what's going to happen, we can't predict, but obviously we have to prepare ourselves. So first of all, what do you see different right now? Or what can you compare in the current environment, what's happening right now, to 2000 or to pre-2008?
It's a great question. And you're right. I've been in 2000, 2008, in 2 years ago, and now again. I truly believe that, like many industries, there are cycles. However, I don't believe there will be. I think there will be market correction. I don't think we are going to see anytime soon a real recession. Why? Because unlike 2000 and 2008, the economy is very strong. If you looked at the earning calls of the publicly traded company in Q3, so now we're in the middle of Q4 announcement. So I think more than 80% of the publicly traded company announced in Q4 of 21 that they beat the numbers. Unemployment is back to where it was before COVID. I think the government has taken the right decisions about how to manage interest and how to deal with the chronic inflation. So all in all, I think the market is getting back to normality. That's why we see correction. I don't think it's a recession. But what does it mean to CEOs or entrepreneurs? So what are the recommended to-do list when you get into those situations or period of time? from my experience, what you spend, number one, make sure that you spend your money on the right things. The most important one, not the nice to have, the must have ones. It's relevant to salaries. It's relevant to, are you really hiring the right people? Are you really hiring the needed people? Is it the right time to expand? Is it the right time? So there's so many questions you need to ask yourself, and then spend your budget wisely. And if you don't know, ask the people around you. Ask your board members, your mentors, anybody who has experience how to make the right decision. Number two, if you don't have money enough in your bank, go and raise capital. And if you cannot raise capital, look for a credit line or debt to secure yourself. The last thing you want to take into account or really consider is dilution. You should not care about dilution now. You should care about having enough money in your bank to at least, at the minimum, for the next 24 months, minimum. It will give you the level of confidence to operate your business. And then there's when everything what goes down must come up, and vice versa. I believe a few months into this correction to normality, I think it will happen at the end of 2022. Depends. There will be again a upside, and the one that will have the right technology, the right people, and they are laser focused on their execution, they will benefit from a fantastic backwind that they can really leverage and take all opportunities around to be successful. And make sure that you are very transparent with your team. Don't hide. We do in Hibob, in my company, in every all hands meeting, and we do it on a monthly basis. We share all the KPIs, all the numbers. Every employee in the company has access to any part of the business, numbers, percentage, whether it's the dashboard is in green or in red. They have access to it because once they see it and they understand what does it mean, I think they are more committed, and they can help themselves grow from being good to be exceptional. And the challenges, correction, recession, they are all a fantastic opportunity to tighten your team. Make sure that you really focus on the right things, and it's a good exercise to pause for a second, recalculate, rethink, and then come back with hopefully the right strategy and execute on.
I love that. That's a basic blueprint how to handle for the uncertainty of any type of startup, which is really what a startup should be doing from day one. Good times, bad times. It's not about trying to get the fanciest office and then and to get an architect to do an incredible design and be really cool. But like you said, be frugal from the very start. Have that mindset. But you mentioned transparency. How much transparency is too much within a company?
I don't think there is too much it's about the company DNA and the company's culture. If you're transparent and you share information with the team and you explain what this information means, and you don't try to shine it and to only talk about the great stuff, and you have the courage also to talk about the challenges, and you explain how you want to get out of it or why did you do something right, and it goes from you to your managers and to your team leaders and to the people. I don't think I don't see any issue with it. Obviously, when let's say you are publicly traded company, then it is an objective challenge because you cannot share information about business as you are as a private company. But I'm a great believer in transparency. I think, by the way, transparency and honest transparency reduces politics.
Correct.
And because everything is known to everybody, you don't need to guess what's happening. And also, we spend a lot of time trying to explain, hopefully, every employee in the business what's the unique way you are impacting or you can impact the business. We try to connect the dots between the cold call you do as a BDR to a prospect, to the success of the company, and a QA engineer or somebody in the customer support, or a BI engineer, or somebody in HR. I hope, because we invest a lot of efforts, I hope they understand where they are in the organization and how they are impacting or can create more impact on the business from what they do.
It's incredible because, we work, God willing, we live for 120 years. Bezrat Hashem, God willing. And we work for 75, 80% of that time we're working. Why work for a place that you're not going to be, first of all, A, motivated, and B, where you're not going to be challenged to show up as your best self, learn, and become a better person? And hearing the way you speak and what's going on at Hibob, and you mentioned to me previously before the call that one of the best compliments he ever received about Hibob was from an employee who said that he feels like he's working, almost like, I'm going to use it verbatim, but for a social responsibility company, a place where they take, first, from my understanding, where they really take care of their employees, right? And they challenge them.
He basically said, sometimes I don't feel that I'm working for a business. I feel that I'm part of a social movement that try or wants to change the way people work globally. It was a big compliment because when you hear one of your employees describe his 2021 journey this way, then hopefully we did the right thing for them. But again, it's not autopilot. What works for you today or yesterday does not mean that it will work for you tomorrow. You have to hold the stick when you are flying and do all the corrections that you need to do, because everything is changing. You're growing, you're expanding, people leave the business, people join the business. So you have to manage it. But I'm very proud of my team. I'm very proud of our culture. And I'm very proud of what we offer our customers to make sure that they are nurturing their culture. We build a technology that allow them to put their people first. We build a fantastic technology that they can really do a fantastic job around retention, people retention. We build a fantastic tool for them to really understand what's going on. Is this specific individual at risk, attrition risk, and why? We help managers in the company, HR, finance, and direct manager, to automate workflows for them so they can spend more time with their people, managing them, especially when everything is remote or hybrid. Think about onboarding an employee that you have not seen, and most likely you will never see in the next coming months. How you onboard, how you run performance review, how you conduct a merit increase discussion with people who live remotely, how you nurture the culture. There's one thing that I believe makes the change between organizations. And I mentioned at the beginning of the conversation. It's all about the culture. As Peter Drucker mentioned last decade, a culture will eat strategy for breakfast. I think he was so right about that. If a business has a strong culture, and what is culture? To me, it's the summation of relationship between people. If you have a strong culture and you know how to do it, it's your DNA. then you do something right and something very unique. And do this exercise. Go and listen or read all the interviews that great entrepreneurs and CEO gave to the press. And they were asked, what was so unique about your team, about your business, about your company? And you hear that the most popular answer is our culture, our unique culture. So it means a lot. They are not talking about the revenues. They are not talking about the market. At the end of the journey, they only talk about people and they talk about culture. What we try to do in Hibob is build a technology, system of engagement that will allow every manager in the team, and hopefully, any modern business on the planet to use, so they can be a better managers. And they will have a more productive HR units, and they will maximize their chances to build a very unique DNA and culture, strong DNA, great people. This is the recipe for a fantastic success on the business. You join companies, you live because of your managers. Always.
Right. So then how important is social responsibility? How important is it for a company to give back to the community, to have a social responsibility? And what does impact mean to you beyond the creation of your company, beyond Hibob?
Yeah, I hope I'm doing enough. I'm not sure, but it's a high priority for me as an individual, but also for the business. And I'm a great believer that we were lucky in high tech because we work for companies who are digitalizing health, education, payment, commerce, HR, cyber, whatever. We were lucky, but because we are lucky, we have a social obligation to give back. And giving back does not mean to donate money.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the easy way. You donate money and you check the box, I did it. I think it's more about volunteering. It's more about being involved in what's happening to you. I'll give an example of something that we did in Hibob 2 months ago. We teamed with an organization that helps IDF soldiers, post-traumatic soldiers, and we invite them to visit our offices to hear about what we do. And also, we went with them for a few days to hang out together in the desert. We slept together in tents in Judea desert. So to get to know each other, because we think that they have contributed so much for the state of Israel, and they deserve recognition. They deserve hugs. They deserve the welcoming that we try to do, and we are now trying to convince our customers to do it with us. We are not the only one. Dozens of tech companies who really take this mission seriously, contributing back to the society, helping children and women. I think it's a must-have. If I was in board rooms, I would say it should be part of the company KPIs to report to the board every year about what the company did in terms of giving back to society. We're doing it in Israel, and we're planning to do it in other countries as well. It's not only because we're here in Israel. We would like our team in the UK to give back to the community where they live. Same goes for our team in the Nordics, in the US. I think it's our obligation to give back, and it's not just fancy words. We truly believe in it, and you will see that people will respect your business way more than if you only think about your profit and about maximizing the working hours of your people. You get a higher level of commitment, and this is one of the triggers to help people grow from being good to be exceptional. Exceptional is not only in business. It's not only in, I don't know, making another call or fixing another bug. Exceptional means that the team around you, the company around you, the society you work in. So I think everything is tied together.
So what do we tell young Ronnie? 21 years old, has the whole entire world in front of him. He's able to do multiple things. He could go travel South America, end up in Costa Rica, become a surf bum, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's beautiful. You go and try to do something. You could go become a soccer player. You go get into high tech. A young 21-year-old Ronnie has the whole entire world in front of him. Could do whatever he wants. What message would you like to depart to him?
Yeah. Number one, life is short, and you only live once. Make sure that you make the right decision about your life. If it's great, keep going. If not, it's time to change. Secondly, be patient. This generation has a sense of urgency. Everything has to be, if not tomorrow, then today. So it takes time. Gain experience, learn from other people, make sure that you're surrounded by a team that help you grow, that can empower you. You're gonna live forever. You're gonna work forever. I mean, people will work until their late 80s if they will live until then. They will. So there's no sense of urgency to be a VP customer success after two roles. I don't know, a CS and then a CS team leader. So my next job is VP. It takes time. Build the muscles. Enjoy the ride, and make sure that when time is ready and you feel that you are mature enough to do the next move, do it. And you can do many moves. People are founding businesses when they are in 25 or 26. I salute them because they can do probably 10 startups in their life, not like me, 3. So they can do much more. Enjoy life, enjoy the ride, and make sure that you choose the right thing for yourself.
Amazing. Ronnie, I want to thank you. I mean, I have no words to thank you, but I still want to thank you. And there's no doubt in my mind that we could probably continue this conversation for another 2 hours, for sure. I'm ready to go for another 2 hours, no problem. To go on a marathon over here. And I know our relationship is just starting, and we're going to talk many more times. We'll probably have a second session too also. But I want to thank you for, first of all, contributing what you did over here. I've learned a tremendous amount. And like I always say, I always believe that a conversation is not the words being transferred over, but it's more the underlying conversation, what's not being said, and the emotions that come together with it. And I know I feel very stirred up emotionally in a positive way from this whole entire conversation of listening to you and your story and the advice and the tips you shared and your experience. I feel emotionally recharged, and I also feel stirred up where do that. And I know, it's not, I know there's no doubt it's going to impact the thousands of listeners that are going to listen to this episode to really do something in their life. And it's all about impacting one person, that one person listens to this episode, and they, right after this episode, they take some type of action. And then we know we were successful. And that's what it's all about. But I want to wish you a lot of success.
Thank you.
Hibob, and I'm personally here for your family and for Hibob any way I possibly can. And I look forward to hosting you on Shabbat in New York. And I'm truly, truly grateful for your time and everything you shared. So thank you.
Thank you, Ephraim. Bye-bye.